The founders, in the case of the Constitution, the framers were well aware of this. They escaped religious persecution. Some of our colonies were founded as religious colonies. Some of the colonies continued religious tests for public office 20 years after the the Constitution had been ratified. I don't support any of that. I'm giving you our history. To say that this isn't a Judeo-Christian nation is to be ignorant. This isn't about what you feel or what you want. This is about facts. Every signer of the Declaration of Independence, every one of them, had a belief in God. They were of some denomination. They didn't all agree. Why would they? Who does? But the reason he didn't want to talk about the Declaration is because the Declaration is laced with references to divine providence, the Creator, God. And you see, the problem is, folks, if you eliminate all that, what are you left with? There are no unalienable rights then, are there? How can there be unalienable rights? Because man creates them, man can take them. Governments create them, government can take them. So even if you're an atheist, or even if you're somebody who thinks you're a person of a particular faith or religion, but you really don't practice, fine, I don't really care. What do I care? But don't tell us that the nation has to comply with whatever it is you believe today, when in fact the nation was not founded on that belief system. If you're an atheist, congratulations. You can be whatever you want, but you cannot form a society, or at least we didn't, around atheism. And our founders didn't. The Constitution nurtures the civil society. The Constitution protects the civil society from the federal government. The First Amendment talks about, in essence, I'm just going to paraphrase it, freedom from religion, but freedom to practice your religion too. The reason we are the most tolerant society when it comes to religion is because of the Judeo-Christian values that are present in the Declaration and respected in the Constitution. The Constitution does not create a theocracy, but it also does not create a secularist society. It does not impose that on us either. The entity that seeks to impose that on us is the Supreme Court in the 1940s. So, I'm just letting you know the facts, the history, the truth. They're not something you can disagree with. You can't disagree with history. It is what it is. You can't disagree with the Declaration. Well, you may disagree that you may not like it, you may not support it, but you can't disagree when something says what it says and means what it means. There's a lot of things you can debate. But if you reject what I've said, then you have to reject the Declaration and the Constitution. Isn't that odd? And that's where the secularists and others, the statists, that's where they fall down. There's a reason why the statists and the secularists get along so well. If they're not one and the same, they might as well be. Because the state rules supreme. If you do not believe in unalienable rights that were granted by God, that is natural law, then what do you believe in? And where do your beliefs come from? I have found it incredibly contradictory when we have people who claim to be very religious who are also supporting a massive secularist society. I don't get it. The alternative to a massive secularist society is not a theocracy. The alternative is the Declaration and the Constitution. So, Brit Hume didn't say anything wrong. First of all, he's not a representative of the government in any respect. But his views would have been as comfortable in Philadelphia, at Independence Hall, when the Declaration was debated, when the Declaration was passed and signed, when later the Constitution was debated and passed and sent to the states for ratification. His views would have been more in sync with the Founding Fathers than Keith Overman and David Schuster and all the rest of them combined. But we're talking about forming a society. How was this society formed? And to say, oh, no, Judeo-Christian, no. Don't tear down the society to project your own belief system on it. This tolerant society allows you to believe whatever you want. But the society should not be compelled to transform to your beliefs when that's not how it was established. Then you're no better than Barack Obama or the rest of them. You seek to change our history and our traditions and our customs as much as he does. You see, the secularist and the statist, the left for the most part, they're not tolerant of opposing views, whether they be religion or faith more generally, or whether it be speech or economic systems. They do not tolerate dissent. They seek to crush it. They use language and distort it. They distort our history. And a lot of people fall into this trap. I get people saying, I'm a conservative, but that's social value stuff. Well, fine. I don't agree with you. I don't believe we split up conservatism into three neat pieces. Well, we have the social conservatives, the fiscal, and the national. No. Conservatism is much broader than that. It's about a way of living, a way of governing, a way of a society conducting itself. You can't break it up into little pieces. Don't tell me, on the social issues I'm immoral, but when it comes to taxes, there I'm really moral. Or I'm really strong on national security, but when it comes to domestic security against big government, well, we'll leave that for another day. No, they're all one and the same. They all spring from the same position, the same attitude.